Give me just 15 minutes and you'll never suffer again. Not because I'm handing you a magical affirmation, but because by the end of the video, you'll see the root cause of your suffering and you'll know exactly how to remove that root. So what if pain is caused by not by what happens to you, not by people, not by circumstances, but by the meaning that you give to those things? And that meaning comes from one place and one place only. It comes from, well, first of all, it comes from you. And a lot of times that meaning comes automatic. It's there before you even have contemplated a meaning. And it feels like the only possible meaning. So where is that meaning coming from? It's coming from the programming, the blueprint, the false ideas and programming that you learned before you knew you ever had a choice. Every ounce of emotional pain, every rejection, every fear, every sense of lack, it all stems from limiting beliefs and programming. You were taught from day one that you are separate from love, separate from abundance, separate from power. And that lie has become your identity. When you dissolve those wrong ideas and return to the truth of who you are, suffering can't exist. It won't exist. It doesn't exist. Because suffering only exists inside the illusion of your limitations. And if you're new here, hello, I am your Muse Traci. On this channel, I help you to peel back those false layers of programming, dissolve all of your limiting beliefs, and return to your true nature so you can effortlessly manifest the life you truly desire and wake up tomorrow with the knowing that you have all the power to create the reality that you desire. Stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm going to give you a 48-hour no proof challenge that breaks the suffering loop for good. If you already know that you want help in pulling out these roots from your reality and from your programming, that's exactly what I do in my 1-month intensive coaching program. We meet 2 to 3 times per week. You get custom homework and assignments from me. You have email support and access to me in between calls. It's a lot of one-on-one work, hand-holding, and I'll be with you every step of the way. We reinstall the truth as your default, so you start to operate from this rather than the false programming. By the end, you'll know how to run all of this without me. And if you're interested, there's a link in the description. There's also a link for a limited time to book a free call with me. If you're not sure and maybe you have some questions, you can click that link for a limited time. So let's get into the video. So how is this false identity formed? Well, up until around the age of 7, your subconscious is a recorder. It's essentially a sponge. Everything just goes in. It's what you observed, the dynamics in your home, how you were taught to handle your emotions, what you were told about love, about money, about your self-worth. Everything just went in without filters. And it's not just what you were told explicitly. Those programs are also installed by the meanings that you as a child gave to things. For example, explaining some fault in your environment usually gets directed towards you, because as a child, it's safer for you to think that you're the problem rather than thinking that your environment is the problem, right? It's much less safe to think as a child that your environment is the problem. So you redirect that towards yourself. And this starts to also develop a program about yourself, a belief, a false belief about yourself. But again, this is a program now, here we are, current day, and you're operating from it, right? Even to this day, until you do the work to change it, that is. Those imprints and programs became your truth, unknowingly, right? And then life starts to reflect that back. And it reinforces the ideas that you came up with. So it becomes a reinforcing loop. You have the program, your reality starts to reflect it, and then you go, see, I knew that's how that was. but it's all a reflection of you after about the age of, 7, 8, 9, because you're starting to operate from those programs and your projection creates your experience. So here's the key. Your beliefs are not universal facts. How do you know? Just ask 3 other people that you know or don't know, and I bet they hold different beliefs. So your beliefs are not universal facts or universal truths or universal law or the one and only belief that you can have. Your beliefs are actually choices. Now, they are often unconscious choices, but you can turn them into conscious choices. And, basically what I'm trying to say here is if you didn't choose them consciously before, you can now. You can consciously choose what beliefs you want to hold and carry around and project out into your reality. So let's look at a quote from Neville. You are already that which you want to be. Your refusal to believe it is the only reason you don't see it. The only reason. Such a good quote. I love that one. So another way of saying that is your evidence doesn't show up first. You go first, right? You're not waiting for something outside of you to show you, oh yes, okay, yes, I am worthy, I am loved. No, it's your refusal to just go ahead and believe that and say that and claim that is why you don't see it. Not because it's not true. It's just because you have to go first. That's how manifesting works. You have to go first. You assume the identity and then the reality follows you. It does not work the other way around. So why then does suffering persist? What is this trap that we find ourselves in? And basically it's the needing evidence trap. Most people wait for 3D proof to feel safe assuming a new self, right? They know they want to believe, they know what they want to believe, and maybe this is where affirmations come in, and so they're affirming, but they don't really believe it because they're waiting for the evidence in their 3D to allow themselves to really believe it. This doesn't work. The 3D is already taking its cue from your state of being, your deeply held beliefs. Not what you affirm on the surface. It's not taking its cue from that. It might a little bit, very temporarily or shallowly, yes, but it's always going to reflect back more dominantly and permanently your deeply held beliefs. When you take your cue from the 3D, you lock in and you perpetuate a loop, an unwanted loop most of the time. So what happens is you wait for proof, 3D is mirroring your old state, and then you keep waiting for proof, and then 3D is still mirroring your waiting state, right? So you're in a perpetual loop, and that's not where you want to be. So we break out of this loop by stopping the need for proof. You have to go first. This is what I call evidence-free embodiment. Stop checking the mirror to change your face. When you stand in front of a mirror, you don't go, okay, well, I'm going to wait for the mirror to smile and then I'll smile. You don't do that. So don't do that with your reality either. So why does your mind keep dragging you back then? If your mind keeps yanking you back into the old story, it's not that you can't persist. It's your unprocessed emotions powering the same thoughts. So these unprocessed emotions are deeply tied to your beliefs. That's why emotional processing and changing beliefs, they go hand in hand. They are complementary, and you can't do one without the other. As Dr. David Hawkins explains, suppressed feelings drive thought patterns, right? It's not just the other way around. Your unprocessed and suppressed and repressed and ignored and denied emotions, they drive thought patterns, intrusive thoughts, repeating thoughts that you can't stop thinking. Why is that happening? It's the unprocessed emotions. And when we discharge the emotion, which is a very simple process, the thoughts stop auto-recycling and the new assumption actually sticks. Okay, so if you're struggling to lock in your assumption, this is probably why. Again, along with the beliefs, but they're so closely tied, you can't really even identify one from the other. So here's a quick practice for you to try. Close your eyes, name the dominant feeling that keeps pulling you back. Is it fear? Is it shame? Is it abandonment? Is it scarcity? So identify it as best you can. What is this, dominant feeling that keeps pulling you out of your chosen assumption? Breathe, and for 60 to 90 seconds, just allow that feeling to be there without judgment and without story. And then just remind yourself that this is just you feeling the feeling and allowing the energy to dissipate. That's all that it is. There's no danger here because we're not looping the old story, right? We're doing this without story. So this might be a new process for yourself. So remind yourself this is just moving energy. And when you feel that energy subside, now you can exhale and return to your chosen assumption. So really powerful, quick practice that you can start to do to process your emotions. So now let's talk about 3 steps to install your new identity so that you can stop checking for evidence and stop staying, stuck in these loops of waiting for evidence, because you have to go first. Remember, I'm going to keep saying this. You have to go first. You always have to go first. So step number 1, choose the state, choose the identity, not the circumstance. Okay. We have to get over this over-attachment to circumstance. And if you are over-attached to circumstances, it's just because you haven't integrated who you are and what 3D reality is. You still think reality is like, the real thing. No, you are the real thing. Your consciousness, your imagination, your awareness, your assumptions. That's the real. Out there is just the echo. So instead of I want money, choose I am the person whose normal is always overflow, and let that identity carry you, right? Lock that in, keep coming back to it. Step number 2, give yourself some imaginal proof and value that imaginal proof over your 3D current proof, right? Again, that's just the echo of your old assumption. You have to let that die out if you want it to change. So for 2 minutes and a couple times a day, you can do this 3 times a day, in a first person imaginal scene. And the scene, by the way, should be after your goal is achieved, right? So if we're talking about money, like I was saying in the first step, you can imagine what you would see if you always had this overflow. What would be in this scene? What would be a scene that implies that that is already done? Would it be keys opening your new front door to your new house or to your new car? Would it be you signing a check or approving an invoice? What would it be? Pick a scene that is easy for you to know that this implies that it's done. And you keep looping this until it feels like it's done. You feel viscerally, you have the feeling of relief, satisfaction. You have this feeling of the wish fulfilled. Step number 3, no argument rule with the 3D. So when the reflection appears, label it old. This is the old echo. You don't need to overly concern yourself with 3D circumstances. 3D doesn't matter. Don't negotiate with it. Don't do any of that. Don't need it to change. Don't question why it's still here. Just return back to step 2. Remember, step 2 was valuing your imaginal proof over 3D evidence and proof. So if you feel yourself getting pulled into 3D, go back to step 2. Go back to your imaginal act. Go back to feeling it as done. Do this as many times as you need to, and remind yourself that you don't need to argue with the echoes of your 3D reality. Here's another quote from Neville. Let man disregard appearances and declare that he is now the man that he wants to be. That's not denial. It's precise causality. The mirror follows the face. If you keep reading the mirror, you'll keep repainting the same face. So now we've come to the 48-hour no proof challenge. So here's what I want you guys to do. we are going to, and the goal of this challenge, by the way, is to break this loop, this suffering loop, as I called it in the beginning, of needing proof, right? And we're going to do this in 2 days. So step number 1, pick one root belief to retire, to let go of. And it can be something like, I'm not chosen, money is hard to get, love withdraws from me, whatever it is. And then choose the new identity or the new belief. Something like, I am always chosen, money comes in faster than I can spend it, unconditional love is my baseline, something like that. Step number 3, practice the routine, the 2-minute first-person imaginal act that I described before, and also the 60 to 90-second emotional processing as, those waves of whatever feeling comes up for you that keeps trying to pull you back. And so keep going back to these 2 practices as many times as you need to throughout the day. Remind yourself that you have a new no argue rule with the 3D reality for 48 hours at least, okay? And if triggers pop up, you say, nope, that's an echo, and I don't argue with echoes. And that's it. Just keep going back to these steps over and over and over, at least for 48 hours. Let's just try it. Give yourself 48 hours to be super disciplined, super, committed to this, and let's see what happens. Comment down below, echo if you're in and if you're going to join this challenge. And let me just address one objection before I close up. You might think, but Traci, what if nothing changes in my 48 hours? Well, my response to that is beautiful, perfect. Nothing is going wrong. You've actually trained the most important muscle, not needing proof, not needing evidence. That's the hinge that this whole door swings on. Once you hold the state without needing evidence, the evidence is going to rush in, but you have to mean it. You have to integrate this. You can't fake reality. You can't fake yourself. You can't fake the universe. So try to do this with the understanding and the commitment to yourself in knowing that this is the power that you were born with. So if you want me in your corner while you install this as your new baseline, you can apply for my 1-month intensive program, coaching program, where we meet 2 to 3 times per week. You get customized homework and, exercises, everything perfectly customized to you. You have email access and support in between sessions. And I'll take you through the process to clear the emotional charges that are pulling you back, keeping you in these unwanted loops. By the end of the month, this won't be theory anymore. This will be your new normal. So if you want some help with that, that's what I'm here to do so that you can make real permanent shifts, waking up tomorrow knowing that you have all the power to create your reality, right? So there's a link down in the description below. And you can also book a free consult with me if you'd like to. If this video helped you, then hit the like button, leave the comment echo if you're going to join the 48-hour challenge. And thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next video.